Hello, this is Lonnie with Rolling O Farm. I've got a stock trailer that has a few floorboards that need to be replaced. The whole floor doesn't need to be replaced, just a couple of boards. So today I'm going to show you how to do that. Come along. Here, step on in and let me show you what I'm talking about. So you can see that there's a couple of boards that have rotted out all the way through and need to be replaced. But most of the flooring is pretty good. So I'll tell you, with these metal trailers with the wooden floors, it's really important that you clean them out after every use. If you allow the bedding or the manure to stay in here after you haul a load of animals, it will quickly rot out your wooden floors, and it'll also rust out the metal around the bottom of your trailer. You'll see a lot of these trailers on the road where the front is all rusted out, where manure has piled up there and rusted out, and the floor is rotting out. Now, I've got a little hay and bedding in here because I just got back from hauling a load, and I just pulled the trailer up in here to work on the flooring while I still had it attached to the truck. But I always try to clean out the trailer immediately after use, because if you don't, it'll ruin your floors very quickly and around the bottom of your trailer. Now, with this particular brand trailer, this is a WW trailer, which is a very common small livestock trailer. It's a 16-foot 5x16, and WW runs their wooden flooring crossways, and also they usually use tongue and groove boards, which sometimes makes it difficult for them to get out. So the first thing I'm going to try to do is to see if I can pry these rotten boards out and see what we've got. This one actually doesn't have the tongue and groove board, so that'll make it a little bit easier in replacement. So there's still a couple of these screw-in fasteners that are in here. I'm going to try to take them out. Oh, it's got a nut on the backside. I'm going to have to cut it. break it off. So for my new boards, I'm using 2x8 pressure treated yellow pine. Now, if your old boards are still intact, you can take one of those and use them as a template to see exactly how long your new boards need to be and also how wide. Something that I noticed, these are 2x8, which the true measurement is going to be 7.5 inches wide. But my old boards are not quite 7.5 inches wide. They're more like 6 3/4. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to rip down my new boards to be able to match the width of my old boards. Now, if your old board is not intact, you can just measure off of the gap that you have in here. And if you look across, make sure to tuck the tape measure underneath that lip, because that's where your board's going to go, all the way to the other side. So this looks like it's measuring 59 inches. You can see that my original board has the tongue and groove in it. I can't count the tongue because I won't be going back with the tongue and groove. And so the width of my old board is a little over 6.5, looks like 6 5/8. And then of course my new board is about 7.5, little less. So I need to shave off a little bit off of that. Set my table saw to 6 5/8. Now when I place these, I like to place them with the wood grain, the curve of the wood grain where it bows up. Because as these bow, when I clean my trailer, I don't want the sharp edges sticking up and hanging my rake. Or my hoe, I want it to be where it's bowed this direction so that I have a smooth surface. And if you look on these edges, here, let's look at this one. If you look on these edges, you can see how there's a little lip, a little welded lip right here. On this side, it's still in pretty good shape, so I'll need to put my new board underneath that. Now, on this side, it's just about rusted all off, so I can slide my board in the other end and then lay it down in here. So I want to make sure that I've got all of the debris out of my pockets there. I'm going to put it in. Nothing's going to get in the way. And then slide it into the pocket underneath the lip. And hopefully it will fall in place. There's one. So it's possible that these would stay in place just because they're in there pretty snug and they would generally have the weight of the animal on top of them. However, I will want to fasten them down, and I like to use a self-tapping screw that goes into the metal frame. Unfortunately, I didn't check to make sure I had those in my shop, and I don't, so I'm going to have to run to the hardware store and get some. All right, back from the hardware store with some self-tapping screws that, if they work right, should be able to go through the wood and into the metal frame all in one step. All right, so boards are in. That should get me by for another few years. I'm sure there'll be some other boards that'll need to be replaced, but it's quicker and a lot cheaper than replacing all of them, since all of them don't need to be replaced. We're going to replace just a few and be back up and running quickly. If you need goats and sheep and you're within driving distance of Northwest Alabama, give me a call. Until next time, happy farming.